I don't know if anyone necessarily believed in Team Liquid.
사람들이 저희를 그렇게 막 많이 믿으시는 것 같지 않은데
We had some great weeks and had some awful weeks.
그리고 그렇게 좋은 모습을 많이 못 보여줘서
There's been analysts that have said, oh, we're a top 15 team in the world. And then there's times where people are saying like, oh yeah, we don't even deserve to be in the LCS.
When you think about Liquid, our counter is Cloud9. It has been last season, this season.
They're gonna keep going on Liquid here. That's the damage coming in. Double kill for Sneaky.
And they've always done well against us in the playoffs.
There's the knock-up attempt. They have found special. That's one going down. Unleashed Power goes on high, but he's got Guardian Angel. Cloud9, you're going to the 2014 World Championship.
When you come in 6th place into the playoffs out of 6 teams, you're going to be the underdogs the whole way through. That didn't seem to faze us last week.
The biggest difference right now is the trust in each other that we have. We believe in ourselves.
왠지 저희 팀원이 저를 믿는 것 같고 해서 저도 그렇게 저를 믿어주니까 저도 그렇게 보답을 해야 되니까
갑자기 막 없던 시너지까지 막 올라온 것 같고 피글렛 선수가 자기가 월드 챔피언이었던 걸 증명한 것 같습니다.
I think we showed the world that we are a strong team when we're at our peak.
I think we have what it takes to beat Cloud9.
Welcome everyone to the 2015 North American LCS Spring Playoffs. We're coming to you live from our studios here in Los Angeles. It is semi-final weekend and the fans are pumped up for a full day of action out on the Rift. As you can see, they were loading in earlier. Team Liquid getting into the studio a short time ago. They'll be looking to extend their impressive playoff performance today against Cloud9, and Cloud9 jumping into the studio looking to reclaim their North American Championship title, and that starts today. There was an exciting 3-2 over in Europe, looking for just as an exciting game today. Hello everyone, I'm James Dash Patterson. Last week, Team Liquid and Impulse fought their way through the quarterfinals, but the road only gets tougher this week as they face off against our top 2 teams, Cloud9 and TSM. And joining me on the desk to break down the action, we have Aiden's Irene Moon, David Freak Turley, and CLG's top laner Zion Spartan. How you guys doing today?
Great.
Really well.
A whole bunch of fun. I'm really excited for these semis.
All right. Well, this week we learned who would be joining the North American LCS. Enemy Esports defeated TDK 3-1 in the Challenger Series finals and have clinched their spot in the upcoming summer split. And in the LCS playoffs, we have already had a few surprises, so let's pull up the bracket to see how the teams are arranged. Team Liquid swept CLG 3-0, and today will face off against Cloud9. Then tomorrow, our defending champions, Team Solo Mid, will face off against the team who have been on a hot streak, Team Impulse. And what do we think about that bracket so far, guys? Looks pretty good, right? We're going to set up for some pretty sweet semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be, I'm going to say probably at least 8 total games just in the NA semifinals.
All right, I like it. We like a lot of games. Now, the winners will advance to the finals while the losers will battle for the 3rd place seed and a chance to grab an extra 20 championship points. Those teams will carry those points into the summer split, and they will play a big role in determining which 3 teams will represent North America at Worlds. To give us an insider's perspective on today's semifinal, we're going to send it over to Kobe for an interview.
Thank you, Dash. Yes, I am here with Cloud9's coach. That is Charlie, of course. Now, Charlie, you're actually one of the longest standing coaches in the North American LCS, but people don't know a lot about what you do with Cloud9. Yeah, you do picks and bans with Elimination, but what else do you do with these guys? You know, you go over replays, do you have like sleepover parties where you do hair dyeing with Meteos and High?
I actually shared same bed with Balls last night.
Good answer. Good answer. We'll leave that one there. Now, honestly, though, like preparing for a best of 5, especially after such a meta-shifting patch like 5.6, what are the big things that you're working on with these guys leading up to this best of 5?
We're right now in the tank meta, I guess. So we're seeing a lot more tank top laners and junglers. We had a lot of time to prepare for the match, and we saw Liquid play before. So I think we have a really good strat coming to the patch.
Oh yeah, after seeing Team Liquid perform so well against CLG, what do you think is Team Liquid's greatest single strength right now coming into this match?
I think it's Quas. I think Quas is their biggest strength, and protecting Piglet. Those are the key things that Liquid does.
All right, we'll look for that in this matchup. Now, we are going to send it over to Jat on the other side because he is standing by with Peter. What are your thoughts on Peter?
I love Peter.
All right, a lot of love between these coaches. We're going to send it over to him right now. Hi, Peter.
Thanks, guys. And yes, a lot of love coming from the other side there, Peter. I want to talk about last week, though, where you guys managed to 3-0 CLG. With 3 different team compositions in 3 games, what to you is the biggest difference between this best-of-5 format and the best-of-1 we had in the regular season?
Okay, so mostly in the BO1 game, we just test some new strategy because we are brand new lineup. And in the BO5 game, you have to prepare everything clearly, which you should use everything in the BO5 game.
Yeah, and it definitely worked to your advantage last week against CLG. But on this matchup, if you look at the history of Curse or Team Liquid versus Cloud9, you're actually 1-18 against this matchup. Knowing it's a best-of-5 strategy, how do you reverse that trend here?
Well, you know, Curse is gone, so just hopefully history don't repeat. We ended up at 4th again. And I think with this new lineup, we can make it better.
All right, well, best of luck to you today, Peter. See you on the Rift, and let's send it back to the guys at the analyst desk.
Thank you, Jet. Guys, it's an incredibly important weekend for all of these teams. And it's very clear that although there are favorites and underdogs, all of these teams deserve to be here. They've proven that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The late split has been so good for both Cloud9 and Team Liquid. But really, I mean, C9, they look to me like the best team in North America. They're on an absolute tear. They are 10-2 in the back half of the split. These guys have been absolutely crushing overall. You have Sneaky, who's the best AD carry in North America, hands down. You've got Meteos, who's right at home playing Zach almost every single game here. As we heard Jat say, it's an 18-1 record for C9 versus Team Liquid. Like, on paper, this is like the freest semifinal in the history of League of Legends, basically. And I think that's a bit of a mental block then for the Team Liquid players, where I actually talked to their analyst Mark, and he's like, we need to win game 1 so the team realizes they can actually beat C9 here. And the cool thing is for Team Liquid, they've got Phoenix and Piglet, who don't care about the history, who are coming in pretty hot now in the playoffs, who can actually lead this team into a playoff victory.
Yeah, and so it's a different Team Liquid than what we've seen. That 18-1 isn't just this lineup that we've seen. They brought on Piglet, who showed last week that he can play at the world-class caliber still, and then Phoenix, who also stepped up really big in that best of 3. He solo killed in the mid lane, games 1 and 3. He had a CS advantage, and he opens up the entire game in champion select with his champion pool, and then also spills that over into the game, so he opens up the mid lane as well. So right now, I feel like that is the biggest strength for Team Liquid in this matchup, because he's up against High, a guy who has a history of not adapting the best to patches and having a very shallow champion pool. So I'm going to have my eye on Phoenix here.
Yeah, I think like the most important thing here is whether or not Cloud9 gets the 2v1 or the 2v2, because I think if it's 2v1, Cloud9 has the biggest advantage. I mean, even when we played Team Liquid last week, in the 2v1, we got huge advantages. And while we weren't able to capitalize off of it, I'm sure Cloud9 will be able to do it. And I think when it's matched lanes, Quas against Ballas, Quas has been playing really well, and Ballas hasn't really had a good season so far. So I could see that being a really volatile matchup as well. And Cloud9 has had all this time to prepare. They've had 2 weeks. They watched the Team Liquid versus CLG set. They've been playing in the tank meta for all this time, and they probably have a really good strategy prepared. So I think this first game is going to be huge.
All right, well, we're talking a lot about which players these teams are going to have to rely on. Be sure to head over to Twitter and share your thoughts on our question of the day. We're asking who is the most clutch player in the North American semifinals and why. Send your answers to @LullySports and use the hashtag LCS so we can highlight a few of our favorites later in the show. And a quick note, tickets for our upcoming spring finals are sold out, but we are excited to announce that tickets are now on sale to attend our outdoor viewing party. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come join us for a tailgate experience here at the studio to cheer on your favorite teams. We'll be bringing you big screen projection of all the action, along with food trucks and live coverage directly from the fan zone. Space is limited, so check out lullesports.com for more ticket information. Now, before we send it over to the guys on the caster desk, I'm going to put you all in the hot seat. Who do you think is going to win today's series, and what's the spread of games going to be? Zareen, starting with you.
I'm going to go Cloud9 3-1.
3-1 Cloud9 here.
Jinx, Cloud9 3-1.
It's Jinx if you say it at the same time. Anyway,
I'm a time traveler. I did in my
I'm going to one-up both of you and go 3-0.
3-0 Cloud9. There you have it. Well, the desk is overwhelmingly in favor of Cloud9. Right now on LoL Esports, though, 62% of the fans say Cloud9 is going to be victorious. So I guess everyone's in agreement. Well, not everyone. I guess there's 38% of people who are not in agreement.
Team Liquid would maybe differ as well.
Right. Anyway, that's enough chit-chat from us. Let's send it over to the caster desk to get us into the action.
Thank you very much, Dash, gentlemen on the desk, and Zion Spartan. Hello, everyone. I am Rivington Bislin III, along with Sam Colby Hartman Kensler and Joshua Jat Leesman. How you doing, gentlemen?
Doing this podcast again.
Yeah?
it's a great series as well we got underway.
Hopefully we get 5 games as well. I am excited. It's a little chilly in here in the games. Hopefully you're about to heat things up. We're about to hit the rift for Game 1 of the semifinal series between Cloud9 and Team Liquid. These are two teams that have struggled with consistency issues we've seen throughout the split, but seem to be peaking at just the right time.
Yeah, Cloud9, they were able to take the number 2 seed on the very last day of the regular season when they defeated the top 2 teams back-to-back. And they've recently found success taking multiple tanks with a lot of that point-and-click pile-on hard CC. Worked really well specifically against Team Liquid in Week 8 when they were able to punish both of the carries, Piglet and Phoenix. And once again, Team Cup like that, when it does get ahead, very hard to manufacture a comeback.
Yep. And on the other side of this matchup is obviously Team Liquid, a team that is built to be a Worlds contender here. But to hear them talk, they consider themselves the underdogs and kind of have since the beginning.
It's pretty obvious why they consider themselves the underdog as well, especially for guys that have been on the team for a long time. Team Liquid or Curse, which is the continuation of the brand, are 1-18 against Cloud9 lifetime. And they've never taken a game off Cloud9 in playoffs. But recently, Team Liquid have really come together as a team. You know, they look the best we've seen when they 3-0'd COG in that quarterfinal last week. And also, if you just look at the team compositions and the strategies, Liquid may be able to punish Cloud9 in Champion Select. Because Cloud9, they show a tendency to continually go over the same champions once they find things they are comfortable with. And Team Liquid might have the champion diversity to counter that.
They may indeed. Dominate says one player they will have to watch out for is Cloud9's mid laner.
I think High brings a lot to the team that isn't mechanical skill. I think that 1-on-1, 100% mechanical skill. I think Phoenix is a better mechanical player than High, but I think High is the brains behind C9. He makes a lot of the shot calls and he makes a lot of decisions for the team, so I think that helps them out a lot. So I think that in a 1v1 CS war, maybe Phoenix will come out on top, but High is normally a really smart player, so he'll normally make smart plays around the map.
Yeah, and honestly, last week was the best Phoenix has looked in the LCS, plus High has had this little bit of extra time to maybe adapt to some of his new picks.
Yeah, not only was Phoenix play really crisp, but also he brought 3 different champions that are very different looks and very different strategies for the team. So he's really enabling that unpredictability factor for Team Liquid.
It's not just Quas anymore for the team. Right now, we're going to check out the starting lineup, see what unpredictability these teams can bring out in Game 1. On the blue side, it will be Cloud9. That's Balls in the top lane, Meteos in the jungle, High in mid, Sneaky at 80 carry, Elimination at support.
On the red side, also the number 6 seed coming into the playoffs, it is Team Liquid with Quas, a big threat in the top lane. I will dominate in the jungle. Phoenix coming into his own in mid lane, and then that duo lane of Piglet and X Special.
Well, we can expect Balls to get the champion he wants as his and Charlie's slumber party last night. Obviously give him priority pick and champion select. But as we go into this, I think it's going to be a huge variation coming from Team Liquid. But will that be able to carry them? Quas, had a huge diverse champion pool, but those didn't really carry games. We'll see if they can get that in.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the solo laners, but I think the first thing you got to take off the board is the Lulu, because that seems to be the bread and butter for Team Liquid, something they obviously have used a couple of times already and have put in a lot of time practicing on.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. They also take out Vladimir because Phoenix showed a lot of success with Vladimir mid, solo killing Link last week in the playoffs. There are so many different directions you can take in these pick ban phases nowadays that you really can't totally block out everything, but they definitely do target some strategies. It looks like Phoenix bans as well as, I consider that Lulu ban a Piglet ban in a sense because it disables his ability to hyper carry.
That's definitely a strategic, specific ban right there. And it's interesting how Charlie even said Quas is probably the main strength for this team, yet they target Phoenix with a lot of the bans here. You don't always want to pile on all those top lane bans, but there it is, the Hecarim coming out so quickly. That is a snowbally champion.
And it's actually really interesting to me that they decide to first pick the Hecarim over Maokai. Because if we look at the games where Cloud9 beat TSM and the tiebreaker game against COG last week.
And Team Liquid. They used
first pick Maokai
Liquid as well,
all the time. It seemed to be the bread and butter of Cloud9. Reliable point-and-click tank initiation. Whereas Hecarim is more skill shot focused, more prone to falling behind. But it's also 2 weeks of preparation time for Cloud9 and a bit of a new look.
That's something we hadn't mentioned is that we haven't seen these guys in a while. I have a question mark on my sheet on Shiv and Hecarim for Balls, and it's surprising to see him bring it out here. First time for this split. So we'll see now what Team Liquid answers with.
with a
Tanks.
couple of Cinderhawks is what they answer with.
Couple of big boys there.
Sion is one of the top lane champions that can run
Yeah.
TP Smite. He might switch that up because he doesn't necessarily need to take Flash, especially for his engages. And Siobhan is definitely going to go Cinderhawk, so there will be at least one in this game.
I was wondering how the jungle picks would play out coming into this one as well, because both Meteos and I Will Dominate are very willing to pick the tank junglers.
Yeah.
I thought Gragas may be a ban or highly contested pick here, but it goes hand in hand with Sejuani. I feel
So
like
much solo lane focus, yeah.
I feel like they're going to end up going with Gragas if they're doing the tank strategy, but you can never rule out Meteos trying to go AD Vi because he's done a lot of success just hard farming on that.
Well, also remember, one of the really good things against Sejuani is to have another really big tank on your team to take the Sedge ult. Just be in the front line so the Sedge ult doesn't hit multiple people. If you just stand in front, it's actually really hard to get it through a big tank into the back line. Now they've got the fattest of champions on the front line standing in the way to block it.
Nice pick.
The skinny ult dodged by the big champ.
Plus,
It worked-
Morgana
it
Black
worked
Shield
that
on top
way.
of it. If a single person does take the hit, he can even Black Shield him.
I like this hover here as well from Team Liquid on the Lissandra, something that High has had some success on as well. Those assassins, he says he does love to favor, and his ability to keep safe in those fights is a big deal because he can get himself into some pretty sticky situations.
Taking away the Lissandra from High is definitely a very big pick. Also because it's fairly good against Zed.
And Zed was left completely out of the ban phase here.
Yeah.
Which you have to wonder whether High is willing to pick this clean in to a Lissandra, no matter of the counter matchup.
In a team with two Cinderhawks, a Lissandra, and a Janna, they're kind of daring High to pick Zed.
They could also be daring him to pick Jarvan, because he picked Jarvan into Lissandra mid in their tiebreaker match against CLG.
Yep.
There were some differentiations in the rest of the team comp, but that is one of High's pocket picks that he has to decide on within the next 30 seconds.
Draven Jarvan? Are those the next ones?
Yeah.
Is that what happens again? Oh, man.
They need, I think, a little bit of magic damage. I wouldn't be too surprised to see High Corki mid in some aspects of this, since they have physical damage top laner, tank jungler. They want a little bit of a mix of damage if they want to avoid the armor stacking Sion.
Ooh.
Oh, so it's Draven Corki, not Draven
So
Jarvan.
it is.
Exactly.
Now,
Corki mid.
Again, taking the double AD there when you're facing a Lissandra and a Sion and a Sejuani. They have a lot of tools for the hard engage, Team Liquid. So Cloud9 are going to have to work really well with the Gragas and with the Black Shield to put up a front line so that they do not just blow up Draven.
They ran a very similar double AD, but with a Nunu in the jungle and a Corki Lucian. So without that, you don't really need Blood Boy on those guys. Kind of switch it out for a Gragas, you got a little bit more.
One of the things that's very rare from a jungler is disengage. Gragas is one of the few junglers that does bring a strong disengage to the team.
Yeah, it's going to be relatively difficult for Team Liquid to engage on that. At this point, Pickett's last pick would just want to bring a little bit of reliable damage because he will be getting dove on by tanks as well.
Yep. Well, we talk about the team fighting from Cloud9. It looks like they've put together a composition to do so. Safety will come to the lanes here of Team Liquid. Sion ain't going to get pushed out of lane anytime soon. Janna shielding Piglet so he can stay safe, and he also can stay on the back line this game, as hopefully that synergy is still there for Team Liquid.
And the most interesting thing to me about this team comp is, while Team Liquid is bringing a lot of lockdown, and normally the Lissandra Sejuani is free reign to kill whoever you want, whenever you want.
Right.
The fact that the mid laner matchup will be bringing Cleanse because he has the freedom to do so on Corki, as well as having a Morgana to block that, Team Liquid could run into some serious issues actually finding the team fights and could potentially get poked down by a Corki and a Gragas.
Yeah, we'll have to see how aggressively High does play this mid lane. If he tries to poke Phoenix down early and try and keep his CS low as well, because that's a problem that Lissandra also runs into. If she cannot hit her item breakpoints, she's very squishy, and then she will have to use her ult defensively sometimes.
Yep, you want to be able to get that out offensively. This is going to be a big one. Looking at these two teams, you ask anybody, they'd probably say Cloud9 coming off the bat, but with the way these teams have been playing, it's a much more even matchup than you would think here as we come into the playoffs. Let us know who you think will be securing their spot in the finals. Tweet at LOL Esports. Use the hashtag C9win or hashtag TLWin, and we'll be updating the fan vote throughout the series. Something I am very interested to see is with Team Liquid having such a late season surge, will they be able to find where that came from? Will they be able to do it again? Because it did look very good, but can it be replicated?
Yeah, and I'm looking at Team Liquid in the early stages as well, because they've admitted that they do not feel the most secure in lane swaps, and we saw COG get leads on them with lane swaps. But they're the team that actually is probably looking for lane swaps this time around. If you go normal lanes, a Hecarim with teleport and a Draven in your bottom lane is so scary to play against. If he gets off a home guard teleport gank early and the Draven cashes in, that is one of the most snowbally comps that you can possibly have here. So it may be Team Liquid actually looking for the deep wards to try and get Sion, who's very good in a 2 versus 1.
And anything Team Liquid can do to try and change this from a normal game they would play against Cloud9. There are so many similarities in this matchup from last year. Team Liquid 3-0ing CLG in the previous round. Team Liquid going through a late season surge and having a lot of hype built up behind them. It all came crashing down last year when Cloud9 3-0'd them in the semifinals. But as Peter said, the curse is gone.
Yeah, right.
They are
team.
now Team
Different
Liquid.
Team.
New team. Streaks don't count.
New breath of fresh air. And it seems like they were able to find a bit of a second win towards the end of the season. The early game safe for both teams here, as they're not even going to cross for the deep wards.
Yeah, Team Liquid were able to spread out and deny the deep wards for Cloud9, but it looks like both teams calling the lane swap top. So Cloud9 may be able to find the heads-up matchup here. Lemonation still hovering around down by bottom.
We need to be able to track the early jungle and top lane starts here. Something super common for Sion is that level 1 suicide camp. That does not look like what Team Liquid is doing here.
Strong side invade for Team Liquid.
Strong side invade. I wonder if it will get spotted, because if this doesn't get spotted by Lemon Nation, then Meteos would be at risk of getting counter jungled, and he's going to spot it right here.
Right now, though, Hecarim is going to get solo lane experience. Let's see, as Meteos does head into the other side of the jungle. As you said, Lemon saw the invade, so Meteos knows he needs to try and grab what he can out of the blue side jungle of Team Liquid while nobody's home.
That was a ridiculously aggressive play by Lemon Nation. He ran 2 people out of that side of the jungle with no backup. This is actually a pretty big advantage to Cloud9 in my opinion, both for the solo experience they're able to get to balls, and because Meteos isn't meaningfully denied in this jungle, thanks to the spotting by Lemon Nation.
Balls is slowly taking that wave down too, making sure he gets all of it, and it's not pushed to the turret here for Quas, so he could have a harder time than usual. Piglet going aggressive in the top lane onto Sneaky with a bit of that Storm Shield on, helps him out. So good aggression here already as Cloud9. A little bit of vision in the early game for Knowledge, but not able to work anything off of it.
Yeah, that is the one advantage the Team Liquid gains about that strong side invade, is they did get Piglet a guaranteed early level 2. Lemonation slow to rotate, and Piglet next special doing as much as they can to punish this. And that has been one of the big keys to Team Liquid's resurgence, is the focus in early game strategy to make sure Piglet gets a good start.
Yeah, we'll see where Meteos decides to go early on. Because Gragas is one of the few Cinder Hulk junglers that has a really strong early presence. Plus the ability to hop walls means that he can come at you from different angles. Up early on in the top lane there, only 1 ward so far. Meteos already level 3 and fairly healthy. Looks like he is just going to continue on with his jungling though.
And a completely unpredictable jungle route. He did bottom side of his own red jungle, stole blue, horizontally across the map, back to the other blue. As far as guessing where Meteos goes right now, there's no logical path that Team Liquid can take to figure out where he goes.
Plus, since he spent so much time walking around, whenever Gragas is just covering distance on the map, regenerates a lot of HP due to his passive. And he's got control of both blue buffs, so he can just spam spells. And the early game really should be dictated by Meteos. We'll see where it looks like right now he's just going to continue to hard farm. Lemon Nation and Sneaky all on their own up in the top side here. Evening it up, getting a little bit of lane presence themselves. But man, the Hecarim that we talked about, again, this is such a snowbally combination. Hecarim plus Draven.
Cloud9 is absolutely winning this early game. 3 buffs, 4 Meteos. Ball's got the early experience, so he is actually able to lane 1v1 against Sion, which if that was a straight up 1v1, could not happen. Plus Meteos will get the first chance at a gank.
Yeah, on Lissandra.
Whoa!
Nice
Right on the
stun.
list. Level 5, not 6 yet, not close. Not going to be able to hit it, but Dominate's there. He's going to be able to counter. Permafrost doesn't keep him in range enough. And a nice counter engage to that Jungle Gang.
Yeah, a lot of HP loss for both solo laners. They'll probably both return after that wave. Very good counter gank there, though, for Dominate to be in the right place. Just clearing his wolves and head straight up the mid lane. Fortunate for Team Liquid. But again, the importance of Quas keeping track of balls, he definitely has to alert the top lane when the Hecarim goes missing after home guards are completed. Right now, though, it's just a rush to level 2 boost. Nice binding.
It's a lot of Draven damage right there.
Yep.
And a lot
Also-
of Lucian damage.
Piglet's completely taking advantage of every time there's a catch, he's getting that Q right through a minion onto sneaky damage. It's almost telling him where to fire each time. He's taking full control. Very nicely done by him. Pick Special always on the back to get the shields in. And 45 to 37 in that bottom lane as well. Charlie was speaking to you, Kobe, and said Quas is one of the factors they need to shut down. So far, so good.
Yeah, we haven't
Can still get big, though.
We haven't gotten to see balls in a 1-versus-1 situation in such a long time.
That's true.
Ooh, very good tornado. Not only does it stop the back, but a little bit of extra harass. We'll see if Piglet tries to push it any further and continue to harass Sneaky as he CS's under the turret.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest advantages of pushing this early in the game, is trying to harass your opponent while they're under the turret trying to CS. And Sneaky just misses one right there as well.
Balls now on the roam.
They know that there's no flash on this mid laner.
Oh.
Thing is, there's no flash on either mid laner. It makes it a bit of a battlefield in that mid lane when both guys burn flashes as well as the junglers burning flashes. It means the next engagement, if it happens within the next 5 minutes of those flash cooldowns, can end up being a lot more bloody. Meteos has a bit more freedom, in my opinion, than I Will Dominate Sejuani, just because river control and I think a little bit tankier of a champion rather.
There's definitely focus around mid. Already Pink Ward still going down. Dominate's going to be hovering that top side with
such
Sandra as well. Where do they decide to go
already,
from
though.
this one?
All right, focus top lane here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be
both
good. coming in.
teleports are available. Sneaky still low under
They
the
could
turret.
get
The
something
constant
here.
harass.
They're ahead of Meteos on this rush, and the Black Shield's burned.
They sensed it so far ahead of time. Sneaky! He gets out of the ultimate. He thought he was going for the brush, and Dominate just huffs it over his shoulder, whiffing that one. And they only get elimination on that one for First Blood.
First Blood pretty big there for Team Liquid, though. Up until this point, dead even between the two teams. So, in response, of course, mid lane shove, try and deny at least a minion wave. Quas also canceled his teleport, as did Balv, so they're also still even on teleports here. Incredibly close game still.
One kill could have easily been two, but I can't criticize Dominate too heavily for missing that Sejal because Sneaky was waiting for the jukes with both flash and heal for extra move speed.
Very flashable skill.
Very flashable. The wind up on that thing.
Also
Quite
Adrenaline
long.
Rush. He had all the means. Everything to get out of it. Back and forth in this wet noodle fight here in what is the top lane, but we're on the bottom side of the map. 8 minutes in, 70 to 63, so Quas has done a very nice job of keeping himself relevant in that lane.
Because Meteos was chasing around Dominate right there, a very delayed level 6. He actually just got that by taking the small golem by the blue. And Dominate is doing a very good predictive job of this. Lemon, what's he doing in mid lane?
That does not look like he's going to be living very long. That's what is happening right now. Hai offers up a Frost Bomb, but it obviously isn't enough.
All right.
Very peculiar move right there. It seemed like Lemon was trying to do a bit of a rotation mid to get pressure on the mid turret, but they didn't keep track, actually.
Well,
Yeah.
it's so common for the supports to start roaming after their first back. You almost always see those supports roam after their first back, but
not the AD
Piglet also roamed. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Piglet was backing up X-Special in his roam, so Piglet with a huge lead now for Team Liquid, just where they want their money early on this Lucian. This is actually very good news here for Team Liquid to get such a good early lead. The BF sword to try and keep down this Draven. While Sneaky didn't die and lose his Adoration stacks in the early dive, he is definitely outclassed in the lane right now. Pickaxe to BF sword and longsword.
He is behind by so much. Even just the straight attack damage is 150 on the side of Piglet before the Janus shield and 113 onto Sneaky. That is an untradeable lane. even if they landed Dark Binding, I feel like Piglet would just turn and fight.
Yeah, it did not work out for them this time. Going with the matched up lanes, it seems like the duo of Piglet and Xpecial has definitely been getting stronger throughout the season.
All right, well, we are still looking for that wild card, the early Hecarim home guard teleport.
Yeah,
Balls does
it's
have it
still alive.
available, but teleport cooldown, as we said, was used in the top skirmish, so once that comes back up, we'll see if he can make any moves. As of right now, though, Team Liquid also a lot of turret pressure up in this top lane because of how oppressive Piglet and Xpecial have been.
Yeah, Piglet is looking really comfortable right now.
Tower shot on his way out, though. Gonna help out Sneaky a little bit here.
Use this to get another gank in the top lane. Fortunately not in position for it. You see Balls getting solo farm in the bottom. High could look to open up the map here. Good pressure from Phoenix in the mid lane. Phoenix been playing very well on a versatile amount of champions lately. You can't really tell what's going to come in from him in Champion Select. He is down 20 CS in the mid lane right now as Cloud9 loses their top turret.
Yeah, this duo of Lucian and Janna can murder turrets. Outer turrets at this point in the game are butter for him. If they get that duo roaming, they can easily knock down a few more. Cloud9, though, going to open up the middle of the map. We'll see if they can get some more ward coverage for themselves.
Yeah.
Try and keep track of Dominate, because Dominate's got the Sejuani ult as well as Flash available. Looks like they're going to turn their attention towards Dragon after the top lane was taken. Sneaky solo farm. Cloud9 may just have to give this one up. Their AD carry's not going to join this one. Early Dragon, not quite that big of a deal at this point in the game, so Cloud9 probably not going to try and fight it. Let Sneaky solo farm.
The question will be now whether Team Liquid can turn this into pressure outside of the Dragon. Piglet rotating down with the huge item lead. Now will Team Liquid be able to go elsewhere and take more turrets because they have the potential for a really big power spike soon. Quas completing that Frozen Heart before Cloud9 has any magic penetration on High's Corki. They're pretty much just doing physical damage for the most part. And Quas could really become part of a great roaming turret-taking squad with the Janna Lucian to take down turrets and the Scion to basically protect the wave with his body from any wave clear that Cloud9 might have.
We'll see where they go after this Dragon. Dominate getting big now. And with Quas getting just as big, they may want to start starting their own fights here if they have eyes on Balls and he can't get that home guard teleport in. They have actually switched back to regular lanes with Meteos now starting to hover the bottom. They want to try to maybe get Sneaky going after having a rough early game.
I must be sitting on a huge amount of cash as well. Yeah.
You'd say?
2,600 right now. He's sitting on only Sheen in lane.
He wants Triforce.
He's going to go back and buy a full Triforce when he does base here. And that may be the power spike that Cloud9 are looking for, you know, to get back this 1,000 gold that came from the extra 2 kills here from Team Liquid. Let's see, though. Sneaky still stacking up the Adoration. He has yet to die, so he can still cash in if he gets a lot of help.
Wow. Yeah, he needs a lot of help, though. It's remarkable how Piglet and Xpecial have stuck with this 2v2 lane because it is not a winning matchup for Sneaky right now.
No, and one stand aside, one binding, Xpecial's gone, and Piglet would be left alone. That's what you expect to see.
That's what they'd hope. But the thing is, if you land a binding, Piglet's just going to go right at them. Yeah. And with his... he has had some superior attack damage, but the shop gold is actually quite different right now. The power with those two is as close as it's going to get.
So when you sweep a ward like that in Tribush, that's got to alert Team Liquid that Meteos may be in the area. So Cloud9 still have to be fairly careful here. Dominate snuck his way into the brush, and because he has the Raptor buff, he knows that Cloud9 have no inkling that he's down here. Their bottom lane playing so aggressively, though, that Dominate is pretty much just there for counter gank insurance since the Tribush ward was cleared.
Well, it would have been good timing. Piglet's out of mana if Meteos did decide to make himself. Oh, maybe he will now. I was going to say make himself part of this fight, but
Piglet
he waits.
Can go back and get an IE, which will be long before Sneaky will have a chance to. It's a 1,300 gold lead on the 80 carries. So that's basically the entirety of Team Liquid's gold lead is Piglet over Sneaky, which is pretty crazy. Sneaky's the most consistent, best player on Cloud9 all split. And because of a little bit of an early game lead with Lemonation being behind in experience and a nice 4-man roam that Team Liquid did earlier,
Yeah.
Giving Piglet a huge edge.
I think it's all going to be about the double Trinity Force spike because just having one on Corki is good for Cloud9, but it's not enough to overcome the lead that Team Liquid have right now. So they may actually even wait longer for Balls to grab his as well. But again, the teleports are still up. We're still looking for these top laners to impact the rest of the game rather than being on their own island. Sion could very well do the same thing. I mean, we're talking a lot about the home guard teleport, but Sion Ultimate also can force things, especially in the long lanes when all these outer turrets start to go down.
Well, I was going to say, they're taking a little bit to group the amount of power that they have, but it looks like they finally headed towards mid here. Team Liquid looking to take down one of the final turrets as High is just left soloing the bottom one himself.
Dominate on full HP, looking to invade here. Backed up by Piglet. Infinity Edge completed.
Looks like they get out of that one safely. No vision, I think, from Cloud9 on that one either, as Team Liquid has had the top side of the river the entire time. Able to counter gank Meteos as well on his ganks towards middle, trying to take down Phoenix. He's gotten himself out and 2 assists for his troubles in that mid lane. Piglet still wreaking havoc here, putting pressure wherever Sneaky is, and he has to respond.
I'm actually really surprised.
The Vamp Scepter?
The Vamp Scepter.
Yeah,
from
I was
High.
just looking at that too.
I thought for sure he'd be going Luden's Echo Corki this game to differentiate their damage and increase their poke, but he is going for the AD carry Corki build. Not even Sorcerer's Shoes to go along with his Trinity Force Pike against a team that has 2 heavy armor stackers.
And I think that does signal that Cloud9 are looking more for the mid-game win because...
They just want to push turrets.
Yeah, because the Luden's Echo actually seems like it scales a bit better than standard AD Corki build.
I would say that's true.
And they may want to make a really hard mid-game push there when they do get the double Trinity Force.
Well, what they're doing right now could put them in a position for some wards at least. They did put one down by blue. That could be a teleport for Balls a little later. Meteos here now towards the bottom line.
Oh, good poke there, landed from High.
Going to back off on this one.
Luden's Echo or not, the level 11 for Corki is ridiculous. Level 2 on those rockets, taking their toll on the mage, who cannot lifesteal off of creeps. Piglet though, protected by shield.
This game
can life.
This game is definitely stalled out.
Yeah.
The interest there's some very questionable things happening with the Cloud9 item builds as well. Sneaky just picked up an Avarice Blade instead of trying his best to finish the Infinity Edge, but that kind of signals to me that they're hoping they don't get a real fight anytime soon.
Well,
there's a
Liquid
chance
has
that
given
the
them
small
so much
amount of crit
breathing
can
room.
help. Maybe.
Plus it makes you question, is he going to go Ghost Blade Infinity Edge or is he going Static Shiv? Because Ghost Blade seems like it would be less effective since there's early armor stacking already. Flat penetration isn't going to be that great.
It's just Cloud9 going in a couple of unorthodox directions with item builds, and especially with this Dragon 2 coming up, they're in position to maybe contest. This would have to be a teleport in for Balls. He can't even charge his home guard.
I actually like trading the top turret here for Dragon 2 for Cloud9. Dragon 2, they're not that worried about... Whoa, he goes in for the steal.
Close.
Almost gets it.
Oh,
There's the teleport.
Sneaky way too deep on that one. Didn't know Phoenix was just above him. He could. No, he does not cash in on that. Lemonation's about to take one more Q from Phoenix. They can clean this one up as Piglet arrives. He heals Dominate. He stays alive for just a second longer and long enough for the fight to go Team Liquid's way. High running for mid.
High's really got to get out of there.
Woo! Yeah, that was very strange for a number of reasons. Team Liquid was doing the right thing, positioning with their power spikes, going for Dragon, knowing they had a Frozen Heart against an AD team, and that they can win any fight that they take. And then Sneaky gets bloodthirsty trying to cash in his adoration, hoping that he gets that, finishes an Infinity Edge, and goes to snowball the game. But everything goes wrong. They were the weaker team at the time. They did not have a home guard teleport to come back in, and they pay the price.
Yeah, that's why I really thought Cloud9 were going to opt for the trade there and trade that top turret.
Yeah.
But Meteos goes in for the steal, and then they have the Draven initiation. Now, there is a good... Dominate locks up Balls with the Sejuani ultimate early on, but really, X-Special flashing in for the Janna ultimate is what turned the tides of this fight. When Quas does not go down, Cloud9 get demoralized. They can't clean up the rest of the fight here. Sneaky's already down. All their damage has been broken at this point. And X-Special comes up with a huge reset for that fight, saving Quas,
disengaging the members of Cloud9 and allowing Team Liquid to pick up some extra kills there. What a huge swing for Team Liquid. Plus, with Sneaky going down, that big cash-in that they were waiting for gets cut in half.
He was around 350 adoration stacks before that fight, which would have been a very generous cash bonus. And we've seen him get success before by flashing in just to get a kill. We saw it in the COG game where he flashed in to kill Double Lift, but he was trying to flash in and kill a Frozen Heart Scion that time, so that did not deliver.
Yeah.
One does not look good for Cloud9. Definitely thinking about what happened in Picks and Bans, how that could have gone better. Great picks taken by Team Liquid, thwarting what a Cloud9 could have done in this one. Hi, my name is Piglet, and you are dead. He dies so fast, he actually takes the aggro off of Lemon Nation. Now they can't save him after that one. He went a little too hard that time.
Piglet just establishing his dominance.
Yeah, I guess so.
Taking down the adoration stacks again.
Yeah, honestly, it seems like a bit of a foolish move by Piglet because he did have a bounty on him, but there was a pretty high chance he gets
it was. You can still call it that because he uses Flash as well. So
most of it was the play of Lemon Nation, though, landing the binding and then locking up with the stun. Otherwise, Piglet could have gone in and out. Plus, they end up getting a turret and they cut the adoration stacks. I actually can't say it's that bad of a play by Piglet.
Worth.
Definitely calling worth after that one.
Mostly worth.
You can make the argument that it is worth.
Well, right now he may have gotten the argument of, all right, calm down a little bit. That was a little too hard from the team, and we'll see if he corrects the play there. Still a good push on the bottom lane and an immense amount of wards for Team Liquid on the bottom half of that map, giving up Cloud9, because if Cloud9's also not on that wards, they know they're on the top side of the map.
Yeah, and you know, they picked up the double Train Force right after that disastrous Dragon fight.
The timing just wasn't there.
It really depletes the...
Yeah.
Another Sigil, another Flash Burn, plus they may even still pick up the kill.
There's only so much you can do,
And they also gave it to Piglet. That was really nice discipline by Team Liquid overall, knowing that Piglet is in position to carry this game with their tank team and crowd control. Team Liquid is abusing their power spikes very well, and Cloud9 disregarded them, which they are paying for.
Yeah, and remember how much the first game of the series was talked up, how much it means for both of these guys with Team Liquid being such an emotional team and riding high on the confidence of taking down CLG. Everyone's like, oh, you know, Cloud9's a completely different story. Yeah. Don't get overexcited, but Team Liquid with a really strong showing here early on, and we've seen how much momentum really does mean in the best of fives. Liquid, though, gonna have to do some work to get Phoenix out of here.
Oh, Sneaky just can't catch a break.
They really wanted to give it over to him, but time to hightail it out of there. Quas doesn't have his ultimate or his flash. So
still wants him. He's still going for it.
He's just limping along.
You don't always get what you want.
He drives right by.
What's interesting to note is even though Team Liquid has been dominating the pressure in this game, Cloud9 is picking up enough stuff on the backsides. Their CS numbers are very high. Balls at 211 CS to 160 balls. Turrets are only one behind for Cloud9. The two dragons at this point in the game aren't that meaningful until they stack a little bit later, or they can continue to deny Cloud9. We've done a lot of talking about what Team Liquid has done right and what Cloud9 has done wrong. But what Cloud9 has done right is keep the trading in this game alive.
Doing it under our nose.
And they're not dead yet.
They're 113 from Meteos to the 87 of Dominate, so he's going to be a big factor in the fights as well as that tank we were talking about.
Yeah, Cloud9, they're not dead yet, but they're facing a map that's littered with Team Liquid wards. So Team Liquid have done a very good job of getting those deep wards after they got their lead. Plus, this front line from Team Liquid is going to be so troublesome.
Massive.
A double Frozen Heart front line against the double AD team. And this is not a looted Echo Corki either. This is the Blade of the Ruin King early on.
We're so far away from Cloud9 picking up Armor Pen as well.
It's going to be very difficult here for Cloud9 to pull off the win, but they would have to, you know, catch some sort of fight here with a numbers advantage. Maybe get somebody out of position.
Maybe like that.
Good start there for Cloud9. See if they can capitalize on it, though. Dragon's up, Baron's up. They have a pink ward on Baron.
Baron will be reaching, I feel like.
Mito's going to clear it out.
The back
that's
for
about it.
Teleport Home Guard possibly here from Balls as well to start things off. He's backing with 400 gold, so just to get that health crystal.
Surprising to me that Cloud9 doesn't run down and at least try and force Dragon, but they did just catch a support. They still have to respect the double Frozen Heart tank line that is Team Liquid. 24 minutes in, with double 80 carries and Gragas, they have a lot of control on that area. Maybe this is the home guard TP X Factor.
They were waiting for it right onto Piglet. They get the fear as well. It's only going to be a few more swipes as he copters around. Behai is diving in just to get Piglet. Blocks from Quas as he's the meat shield there. Now back on to dominate in the mid lane as they chase Piglet down. He's going to burn. The true damage drops him. Sneaky finally cashes in, but there wasn't even that much for him to get an adoration. And that becomes just a chase. Does Cloud9 go for Baron?
It's all about how much Cloud9 can take off of that one catch of X Special. It is all
they were
trading
waiting
together.
Boss has
Now they
home
try
guard,
Baron.
but no teleport. So he can home guard up there, but it's still going to be a little bit for him.
No. This is
the Monsoon steal.
Phoenix has no ultimate.